All right, so in this training, we are covering training concepts in general. When I say training, I mean exercise and um, workouts and that sort of thing. So, anyways, let's just dive in. So, what we're going to be covering today is the 5 components of fitness. What exactly those are, what they mean, the adaptations of training, aka like what happens inside of your body when you do different types of exercise and different types of workouts, intensity and volume, what those mean, why they're important, hit versus list cardio and when you should use them, compound and isolation lifts, again, when you should use those as well, and then the concept of progressive overload and why that is so key. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is the 5 components of fitness. So, the first one is body composition, not BMI. So, anyways, the first one is muscle strength. Basically, just how much force you can generate with your muscles, pretty much. Next one is muscle endurance, how long your muscles can work without becoming fatigued. Cardio endurance, how long your stamina is, or how good your stamina is. Flexibility, pretty much know what that means. And then body composition, basically what your body fat percentage is, pretty much. So those are the 5 components of fitness. Basically, if you were to call somebody fit, they would have these things, right? If somebody who is not very fit does not have a majority of these things. So basically moving on to the next thing, which is the adaptations of training. So this is a very big key concept when you want to think about when you're thinking about exercise. We've talked about it a bunch and we've harped on it all the time, that what you want to think about when choosing a form of exercise is not how many calories it burns, not how much you sweat, not how difficult the workout is. Instead, you should pick a workout based on what is the adaptation that happens in my body as a result of that workout. So really, the benefits of the workout happen after it's already over, if that makes sense. Basically, what happens inside of your body, what does your body learn? How does your body change because you did that workout, if that makes sense? So there's different modes of training, and they all produce different adaptations or results in your body. Okay, so the first one is resistance training, aka strength training, weightlifting, calisthenics, things like that, right? Anytime you are focusing on these 2 components of fitness, which is the muscle strength and muscle endurance, okay, which will actually have a result on the body composition. Anyways, though, the adaptation that happens as a result of resistance training or strength training, weightlifting, is that you build muscle. That's what happens inside of your body. Now, you also get stronger because you have more muscle, you're able to generate more force, meaning you get stronger. And then because of this, your metabolism speeds up. The more muscle you have on your body, the more calories your body has to expend just to keep that muscle on your body. So therefore, you speed up your metabolism. So that's the adaptation that happens. And of course, with a faster metabolism, that equals burning more fat. All right. The next type of training is cardio training. The adaptation that happens as a result of cardio training is increased stamina, increased VO2 max, a decreased resting heart rate, but you do lose muscle and your metabolism slows. Why? Because the adaptation is to get better at cardio. It is not advantageous to your body to have a lot of muscle because muscle is heavy, right? If you have muscle on your body and you're trying to go do this cardio, you're not going to be as effective at that cardio because you're weighed down by the muscle. So what happens in your side of your body is that signal, that adaptation that happens to your body after you do cardio is we need to get rid of this muscle so that we can be better at cardio. So what happens is when you lose muscle, your metabolism slows, therefore you put on fat. That's why you see people who are cardio fanatics and they still look out of or they're still overweight or they don't look that in shape. So the last one here is mobility and flexibility training, which obviously is working towards that flexibility component of fitness. These are gymnastics, which gymnastics has a very big resistance training component to it as well. Mobility workouts, yoga, that sort of thing. The adaptation that happens is you have increased range of motion, decreased joint pain, better connectivity throughout the body, meaning your body won't have these lapses in communication with each other. It'll be able to have better signals, meaning your hip won't start making up for stuff that your knee should be doing and vice versa. And your body just operates better overall. Okay. So the next thing we want to focus on a training concept here is intensity and volume. So intensity in a workout is the effort you are giving inside of your workout. Okay, most commonly measured using an RPE scale, which is the rate of perceived exertion. So basically, you could say, okay, I did a set of squats. I did 5 squats, and that set of squats was at an RPE of 7. The scale of the RPE is 1 through 10, with 1 being completely effortless, like you could just do it forever without getting fatigued, and 10 being an absolute failure, meaning if you tried to do one more repetition, you would completely fail. So if I were to say that I did a set of 5 squats and that set of 5 squats was at an RPE of 7, what that means is that I had 3 repetitions in my tank before I failed. So you could say, okay, yes, I did, 10 squats and an RPE of 9, because if I did one more, I would have failed. If you say you're at an RPE of 10, that means you failed the set. So I hope that makes sense. That's a good way to measure intensity. Volume is another very important factor when it comes to training. This is the overall amount of work you are doing in a given workout or a different week or a week or whatnot. And how you calculate this is the amount of sets you're doing times the amount of reps you're doing times the amount of weight you're doing, and that equals the total volume. So if I was doing 4 sets of bench press, I was 4 sets of 10 reps of bench press with 100 pounds, then that would be 4 times 10, which is 40, times 100, which is 4,000. Is that right? Yeah. So 40 times 100 is 4,000. Yeah. So that's 4,000 pounds total volume that I'm doing, right? So how you get better and get stronger and become more fit and speed up your metabolism is by manipulating volume. This is something you can really, really, really hone in on and become really good at it. So this is the number one factor that will lead to progress in building muscle and a boosted metabolism. Progressively scaling volume over time leads to muscle growth. So you are constantly trying to increase this number, with exception. Sometimes you don't want to just always try to increase this number, but 65, 70% of the time, you should be focused on trying to increase this total volume number. How do you do that? You either increase the sets, increase the reps, or increase the weight every time you go into the gym to increase this volume. Now, when I say increase the weight, that can be by 5 pounds. You can increase it by 1 rep, or you can increase it by 1 set, and that will do the exact same. You don't want to try and increase all 3 at one time. That will lead quickly to overtraining and burnout. Okay? So choose one and pick it and increase it each time. Now, HIIT and LISS cardio and when to use them. So HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. You've probably heard this before, but you've probably never actually done it correctly. 90% of people do this completely wrong. What it should look like is, let's say that you're doing sprints outside. Okay, this should look like you are giving it 100% of your effort for that short burst of a sprint. And then after that sprint is over, that sprint should last you between 10 and 30 seconds. 30 seconds is actually kind of a long time. So it should really be more between like 10 and 20 seconds if you're sprinting. And then you should have a long rest period. Now, this long rest period should be as long as it takes for you to get back your composure and be at a point where you feel like you can give a realistic 100% effort again. Now, I've come from the kickboxing world. I worked at I Love Kickboxing, and they claimed that that workout was a HIIT workout. It was absolutely not a HIIT workout, because you know damn well when you started that round number 3, you were not rested enough from round number 2. You also know that in that round, you're not giving 100% effort in that round. Now, if that round was 30 seconds and the rest period was 3 minutes, you might be able to give 100% effort in that 30-second round and then rest entirely for 3 minutes and then give it 100% effort again. That is true high-intensity interval training, okay? Again, if you're only going 70 to 80% in your burst effort and then you're not resting long enough between bursts, you're not doing it correctly and you're not getting the benefit of it. You're basically just doing LISS cardio with just a little bit of bursts here and there, okay? So HIIT should never be stacked with other workouts because it's very intense. It should be intense and short. The whole workout should be 10 to 25 minutes in length, okay? Now, when you should use this when you're in a cutting phase and when you're trying to burn more calories and not lose muscle, because HIIT training is very good at burning a lot of calories in a short amount of time. Okay, and it's very good at preserving muscle that you have on you. You should not do it all the time because your body's going to adapt to that style of training. Metabolism will slow down. We've already talked about that, right? So you want to use this as a tool to help you burn some extra calories when necessary. Now, when you're in a boosting metabolism phase or you're in a building phase, you do not want to be doing a bunch of cardio. This is a tool, again, to be used strategically. LISS cardio, which is called low intensity steady state cardio, LISS. These are stuff like jogging, biking, swimming, anything you're doing for an extended period of time without rest. Okay, so, but again, it's not 100% effort. It might be 60 or 70% effort, but you're just doing it over a long period of time. You're going to use this when you want to increase your stamina. So if you are signed up for the Monument Avenue 10K, right, like you might start training with LISS cardio to build your stamina up for that race. You do not want to use this to lose weight. If you want to lose weight, you should be eyeing down a squat rack, not a treadmill. Okay, so you definitely do not want to get married to this idea that LISS cardio is going to burn a bunch of calories. Your body will quickly adapt to it and it will stop burning all these extra calories and your metabolism will come to a complete halt. Okay, it's going to get rid of muscle and your metabolism will slow down, like I said. So that's cardio. Now we're going to talk about lifting. So compound versus isolation lifts. Compound lifts are anything or any sort of movement or lift that requires more than one joint or more than one muscle to complete it. Anything like a squat, a lunge, a press, row, deadlift, pull-ups, push-ups, that sort of thing. For a squat, you're using your glutes, you're using your quads, you're using your calves, your hamstrings, everything. Same thing with a lunge. With a press, you're using your shoulders, your chest, your triceps. With a row, you're using your back and your biceps, right? Deadlifts, you're using pretty much every single muscle on your entire body. Pull-ups, you're using, again, your lats, your traps, your biceps, your, the middle of your back, your rectors, all that good stuff. Push-ups, the same thing as the press, right? Now, with isolation movements, this is any movement that only requires one joint or one muscle. A bicep curl, you're only using your bicep. A tricep extension, you're only using your tricep. Calf raise, same thing. A chest fly, same thing. Glute kickback, lateral raise is just that your lateral deltoid, things like that. So these are things that you don't want to really be doing a lot of these. They're not really useful, okay, for most people. Now, if you're a bodybuilder, which no one is, so I won't even go there, but that might be useful for them. But overall, you want to be doing 80 to 100% of your workout should be compound lifts, okay? They produce the most results in the shortest amount of time. They give you the most bang for your buck. So if you're going to go into the gym and you're going to be doing an hour workout, right? If you do an hour of squats and presses, you are going to get significantly more out of that workout than if you went in and did a bicep curl, tricep extension, calf raise, chest fly. Even though you did more exercises than this one, you're going to get so much more out of this because it fires the central nervous system a lot harder than these ones down here. These are easy. These don't take a lot of effort, right? These take more effort, so you have to do less of them and you can spend less time in the gym and get more benefit from it. You should be focusing here, not here, okay? Now, the last concept I want to go over with you is progressive overload. This is super important when it comes to training. This is the only way you're actually going to progress and get stronger, get more muscle, speed up your metabolism, all that good stuff. Okay, so progressive overload is consistently adding difficulty to your training. You cannot stay and do the exact same weight, the exact same reps, the exact same exercises over and over and over again and expect to keep progressing. Your body's going to quickly get used to it and it's going to stop adapting because it's already gotten used to what you're doing. There's no reason to get better or to get stronger. Okay, so you have to consistently introduce new stimuluses or new stimuli to your body for it to actually change and get stronger. The only reason your body gets stronger in the first place is so that it can overcome a new challenge you're putting in front of it. So if you're not putting a new challenge in front of your body, it's not going to change, right? So this can be done by adding weight, increasing reps, decreasing the rest period, or increasing your range of motion. So let's take a look at what this would look like, right? So for example, on week 1, on your set of squats, you do 3 sets of 8 squats with 100 pounds. Week 2, you do 3 sets of 10 squats with 100 pounds. So you've gone up by 2 reps. Week 3, you do 4 sets of 8 reps at 100 pounds. So you've added a set to this original one up here. And then the 4th week, you do 4 sets of 10 reps with 100 pounds. So you notice you did not increase the weight at all across 4 weeks. But what you did do is the second week, you went up by 2 reps. The third week, you went back down 2 reps, but you added a set. And then the fourth week, you kept the same amount of sets, but you went up 2 reps again. So you can see how over time, if you just repeat this process, eventually, I mean, you're not going to be able to be doing 10 sets of 30 reps, obviously. So you want to start manipulating other factors, but you can see in the short term how this can really be effective. Okay. Another example is by manipulating rest periods. So week 1, you're doing overhead press. You're doing 4 sets of 8 with 50 pounds, and you're resting for 90 seconds. Week 2, you're doing 4 sets of 8 with 50 pounds, but you're only resting for 60 seconds. So you're dropping it by 30 seconds. Week 3, you're doing an overhead press, 4 sets of 8 with 55 pounds, and you go back to 90 seconds. So you go up 5 pounds, manipulating the weight, but you return to your original 90-second rest period. Again, you only want to manipulate like one thing at a time here. Okay, so if you go up in weight, you should up your rest period and decrease your reps again. Okay. Now, week 4, you stay at 4 sets of 8, 55 pounds, just like last week, but then again, you drop the rest period by 30 seconds. So you can see again, if you repeat this, you will continue to progress because each week it's a brand new stimulus to your body. Okay. This is the only way to progress. It's the only way to build muscle and speed up your metabolism. Without progressive overload, you will stay in one spot, you will build no muscle, and you won't speed up your metabolism. So I hope this makes sense. These are just some basic concepts for you to understand and know that when you leave, when you start doing this on your own, these are the key concepts you want to think about. Manipulating intensity and volume, sticking with compound lifts, having progressive overload, right? Choosing the right type of cardio for your goal, okay? Understanding the adaptations of training and then aiming for the components of fitness. So I hope this makes sense. And yeah, let me know if you have any more questions or if you want some more guidance around this.